Hi, Ellen Gobeille here, aka Elle, and I'm kicking it with the Creative Mindset crew this evening. We're talking about photography, design, and purpose. Tap in.
Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Mindset. Today we got a very, very special guest. This young lady right here, Foundations, digital creator, photographer, interior designer. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, and I'm gonna tell you hers is worth millions. You probably seen them. If you follow the page for happy endings, then you for sure seen her work. And yes, they end very happily. Creative Mindset family, welcome Ellen Gobeille.
Hi.
Hello there. How you feeling today?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. The rain kind of is a little bittersweet. You know, I got new activities, but I like the rain, so I'm cool.
I like it. I worked from a coffee shop today. It was really cozy.
Okay, so you are already and your vibes are ready for the fall.
Yes.
You have anything pumpkin spice?
No, not yet. Not yet. But
Then you ain't falling right. You're not falling right. So, I got a question.
I have an answer.
I want you to tell us about the foundations of your creativity, because I've seen that you were a digital designer and the art was like, I don't know if you would call it like abstract or abstract art. Is that the term for it? I'm like a fake artist. I just knew how to draw. That was it. So tell us how you got in that and what was like the process not the process, but the inspiration that led up to pursuing that medium.
So, do you mean like my collages or like what more specifically abstract?
I'm gonna say with the collages.
Okay.
And what's that all the way at the beginning of your page where it has like the different elements of things together?
Okay. Yeah. I have been an artist pretty much my whole life, like ever since I was a kid. I've always been interested in all different types of mediums. I did ceramics in high school and college. I was painting furniture, cutting up magazines and collaging in high school. Graphic design, photography, I love all of it. My family is really creative as well. My grandfather was a woodworker. My mom is a writer. My dad just has really good taste. So I've kind of it's just me, just who I am.
Okay, so you was born into it then.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about how you got into photography then, because that right there, in my entire life, I've only met one person that knew they wanted to be a photographer and to pursue photography, because that's like a unique skill. You got taking pictures, and then you got things where you take a picture that tells a story.
Mm-hmm. Photography, I got into that after college. I had an internship with the Cleveland Browns, and I was doing graphic design for them, and on game days I was shooting fan photos. I was also like the intern that was in charge of the photo drive. So at the end of the night I would get everybody's photos and I had to upload them onto a server. And I just sort of remember like seeing these moments frozen in time and just being enamored at the fact that like it just will never happen again. And it just sort of hit me emotionally. And so, yeah, I have a degree in graphic design. So I sort of was just like looking for another way to express myself. After my internship, I moved to Chicago when I was 23. Moved there without a job. I got a job at a Browns bar a couple of days later, and then shortly after I started working for a marketing company as a graphic designer. The 9 to 5 just like, it killed me. I hated it so much. As a creative person, I think a lot of us can relate to that. It's just like not the best way for us, I guess. And so just with all that being said, like my my affinity for capturing emotion and moments in time. After 4 years at this marketing company, I'll never forget, my mom always told me to learn how to bartend and how to waitress, or learn how to waitress, because those are skills that can take you anywhere. And so in Chicago, I quit my 9-to-5 graphic design job and decided to bartend on the weekends so that during the week I could have more time to pursue photography. And so, yeah, all those years later, here I am.
I don't want to gloss over your time in Chicago. Benny the Bull is is one of those sports figures I never forget. I've definitely seen him on your page. Talk about your time just backpedal a little bit, your time in live sports, when you're doing live sports, and how does that make you feel? You said it was the moment in time that you have captured and it's not going to ever happen again. So I can imagine that it's definitely a thrill at the same time.
Yeah. Live sports is just like, it's so fun. And I want to be in environments where there is joy and there are people who are passionate about what they're doing. And the world of sports, I mean, everyone's working really hard. The players, the back office, the creatives, the cheerleaders, the performers, like best of the best. So it was just a dream come true to be immersed in that. And I never took any of that for granted. It was wonderful.
And I can imagine that it actually added to your craft.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, of course, when you have somebody and you're shooting them, you can orchestrate or you can let it free flow. But with that being a consistent free flow, you basically, the style that I learned from the jargon here is run and gun. And I know you sitting still, but still it's kind of like I can maneuver here, I can do this. So just talk about how that added to your already pre-existing prowess.
Yeah, it was a big learning curve. I remember when I first started, my manager, she warned me, she was like, you're not going to be any good for a little while. And she was right. Learning the settings on your camera when you are trying to capture motion, and the lights are always changing. There's different colors, like you're working with so much. You're working with like, I'm courtside, there's people going in front of me, there's people pushing me, like everyone's trying to get the shot. So honestly, it's chaos, but you just sort of learn to like find your way in it. I don't know, like it became comfortable for a while. I think I thrive in spaces where there's a lot of different people and things going on. It's fun. And like I said, there's so much joy. So even if I'm being pushed, it's like, whatever. Like, I don't know.
For sure.
That type of environment is one of those environments where you have to learn how to pivot. You gotta learn how to thrive.
Yeah.
You could even miss a shot just from somebody being too excited and pushing you. So that kind of sharpens your skills like that, I imagine.
Right.
While you were still figuring things out, what was that defining moment that solidified that this is what I'm really good at, and it made you mash the gas?
I think it was when I started becoming like close with my coworkers and people in different departments. I started getting like requested from like different parts within the organization. Everybody just like it's personality and its output. So I think everyone was just like really happy with what I was producing. I really loved, there was one photo, it was, I forgot the team that it was, but he was like jumping on a trampoline and he was going like really far and dunking the ball. It was like a halftime performance and I caught him like horizontally. And he was like still and he was in the frame and he was sharp and everything. And it was just that, I think that's probably the photo where I was like, wow, it's just so fun. Like, Yeah.
That's good to hear. So I want to know where, well, not where, but talk to us about that Gatorade shoot that you had. You know,
Okay.
as a kid who always drank Gatorade, and I don't drink it too much now because of the sugar in it. But a kid who always drank Gatorade, and then for me to say I know a person who did a Gatorade photo shoot, the lighting was perfect, the set design was perfect, and it's like that looked like $1 million budget photo shoot.
Thank you. Gatorade is an interesting story. It didn't start as Gatorade. I Shortly after I moved back to Cleveland, I got a message from a wedding photographer who needed a replacement very quickly in like 3 days. Like they needed a second shooter. So I agreed. I'm excited for any opportunity to go back to Chicago. And so I go shoot this wedding, and the other photographer, Michael Martin, he's now my co-worker, manager with Gatorade. So we shot this wedding together, and we just got along really well. The photos turned out great. The following summer, we were referred and we got asked to shoot another wedding. And this time we switched roles. Like I was the main photographer and he was the second shooter. I edited and sent out the gallery. And again, we just worked so well together. We started, obviously following each other on Instagram and stuff like that. So we were following each other's journeys for a couple years. And then meanwhile, like something I really love to do is take portraits. Most of the time I'm not even really like making money off of those. I'm just shooting my friends. So, with that being said, I'm following my heart. I am taking these portraits. I'm using like interesting lighting and different colors and stuff like that. So Michael Martin had this marketing initiative. He works for a sports marketing agency in Chicago, and they were, it's called Fuel Your Feed. It's a really cool activation that we travel to different youth sports things all around the country. And, they were like, we need a sports photographer, but the fact that I had sports in my background, but also that I had portraiture, it was just kind of like the perfect combination. So yeah, that's how that came about. And I have been traveling with them for the last 3 years. I've gone to so many cool places and shot a ton of different youth sports, and it's been another dream come true. It's been so fun.
To me, that would have sounded like one of those defining moments, if you ask me, because it's like it's Gatorade. Like
Yeah.
Gatorade is everywhere. I remember as a kid, they had that one nasty flavor, the yellow flavor. It was what was that, lime or something
Lemon
like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then now just to have like I guess the proper word would be a smorgasbord of flavors, and they
Yeah.
got it sugar free and with all the sugar that you want. Well, hats off to you for doing that one. I don't want to show my bald spot right now, but hats off to you.
What's your favorite Gatorade flavor?
Well, they rebranded my favorite flavor. It used to be Rain. You remember Rain? It was the purple one, Gatorade Rain, and it was like the purple color,
Yes.
like that lighter purple.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think they have. I haven't even seen it in a while because I found it like the year before last, and I haven't seen it since because that was like the perfect hangover remedy. But they rebranded it as Berry and like the Gatorade vitamin line, whatever the white label is. But it's kind of hard to find. But the Gatorade Rain was for sure the one in Cool Blue. Randomly, what about yours?
I was thinking the green apple. That's definitely the sugary type. It's green. It's on a newer vibe. I did want to ask you a question about culture, since we're on the topic of culture and staying in, the culture of our communities. Gatorade definitely showed up in my household a lot more with the powder. I don't know if y'all had the powder in the house, but we had the Gatorade powder. We was putting that in the regular water bottles. We was going at it. You have worked with a ton of local artists. You work with Trav, you work with Nuke. And I want to also say, like, you have such a collaborative spirit. I talk about that a lot on here. How has being collaborative helped your career and the things that you do? Working with your manager from Gatorade on a wedding, and then that turned into an opportunity. Explain how working with different artists and people around the city has opened up different opportunities for you.
So honestly, like a lot of my career success, like I can trace it back to like two people. Erica Robinson, I am E. Marie. She's a trainer in Chicago. I was working out at a gym. I was young, like just in my career infancy, and we exchanged training for photos for a really long time. And at the time, I was horrible, but I was able to practice with her. You know, she started taking me to events. She started like helping me network, introducing me to her people. And, you know, next thing you know, I'm taking photos for like all these trainers in Chicago, things like that. It sort of just happened that way. And so for me, I show love by helping people and sharing knowledge. I think that there is a seat at the table for everybody. Everyone's perspective is unique and deserves to be seen. So if I can help anyone along that journey, I'm like really happy to do that.
Yeah, that's love.
So here at the Creative Mindset, our foundation is mental health. And we like to talk about what artists, how what they do great, how it affects your mental health. So to kick that off a little bit, I want to know, how does, whenever you're creating in whatever medium that you use, I guess we can specifically talk about photography since that's the thing that you're focused on right now and that's your main thing. But whenever you are taking photos, how does it affect your mental health when you're high or when you're low or just trying to get through? Or and high, low, and just trying to get through.
Working for myself, mental health is like everything. Especially because like I'm not at a desk like punching numbers, like, and no disrespect to anybody who does that, but I'm being hired based on my point of view and my technical abilities. But so it's like it's really important that I stay balanced. Yeah, I have to keep my mind right, or else like it just doesn't, I can't produce the best work. I still am able to show up at times, you know, sometimes that like the technical mode kind of switches on. And also too, I get a lot of, like there's been times where I go to a shoot and maybe I'm like having an off day or I'm not really feeling it, but my subject and I connect and we share things about our life, we laugh, you know, we just sort of like get to know each other and flow, and I can borrow some of their light in that moment. But yeah, it's really important for me to stay balanced.
Real quick, what's your favorite leisure activity?
I really like to go on walks with my friends. I love Edgewater. Like, yeah, just call up one of my friends and just do that loop, that 2-mile loop, and just chat about life and what's going on and take in the scenery. And psychology says if you see a lot of green, it's supposed to help your mental health. So I just try and get in nature.
Staying physical too. Still working out at the same time. Make sure when there's weather change, you find something else to do.
Right.
Because walking outside in that slush is not it.
Well, living in Chicago, I've learned how to bundle up. Like, I didn't have a car for a long time. Well, the whole time I was there. So I've kind of learned that if you just put on a jacket and like make sure you have a hat on, like your body starts to warm up. I even go on walks in the winter and stuff.
Okay, cool.
So since that is so important to you both, like, what do you do? How do you stay balanced?
To be honest, I haven't done a very good job with just New Year this year. It's just been golf. That's been the thing because that's like me versus me, along with my mental health. Taking some time alone, breathing. Um, I got a sauna box at the house, so sit in the sauna, meditate. It used to be working out, but I'm like so bored with it now. So, but for the most part, it's golf and sauna.
Going to see the chiropractor. We talked about it offline. Getting my back realigned. Tapping back in with yoga because I was a big yoga advocate, but just challenging myself with new positions. Yeah, that's been different. Switching up yoga instructors, doing Pilates. Pilates. That is not what people think it is.
I am scared to try Pilates, but
Yeah, I heard my hip pop in a way I never heard it pop before, so it was worth it.
Yeah, but going back to mental health for a little bit. I know you said you rolled with it. What's it like when you're dealing with a bridezilla? Because you shoot weddings as well. And one thing about when you're in a service as well as a creative service, or even like when selling, people don't know what they want until you give it to them and show them what they want.
right.
And then you may have bridezillas that give you a list of expectations of things that they want, but then they don't even know what is required to get those things that they want. You know what I mean? So how do you pivot in those situations?
To be honest, I really haven't dealt with a bridezilla before. I've been thankful for that. I've definitely shot some weddings where the nerves are really high. And in that case, it's just sort of like I try and keep things really light. My name, Ellen, means light in Greek. So I just try, it's like what I said, earlier with the portraiture and just sort of like borrowing my subject's light. It's like, it's a give and take. And so if I see nerves or anything like that, I'm always trying to remind everyone, like, it's going to be okay. And also, I've shot like, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 weddings. So I just let everybody know, like, enjoy your day. I'm going to be your paparazzi for the day. You don't have to worry about posing for anything. You don't have to, you really don't have to do anything but enjoy this best day of your life. And I'm going to be there capturing these moments for you. And if I see any adjustments, like, I'll let you know. But definitely consider myself more of a documentary style photographer.
That is the best. That really is the best. And that documentary style kind of goes over into like how you capture happy endings as a documentarian, and that's tough. I don't even want to ask you how to like take me into your mind and what you're looking for when you take these pictures.
Okay. Well, first of all, a lot of the people at Happy Endings are my friends. So that makes it really fun. I get to catch up with people. I sort of like, I attend it as well. And I genuinely want to be there. Even if I didn't have my camera, I would want to be there. But when I'm shooting events and parties, Happy Endings, I'm really sort of like, I'm looking for energy. I don't believe in like staging anything other than like, hey, like, can you three get together for a photo, like snap? But I'm really just, I'm filling out energies, where when the dance circle happens or there's like, just energy. I'm always like tapped in and paying attention. And so in that case, I just, walk over, snap away.
What was the first camera you used?
Canon Rebel T3 something.
First, I think it was a T7. T7. He usually asks. That's why I wanted to make sure that we we always ask the shooter what camera did they use and how did they start in a natural progression. What are you using now?
I'm using a Sony A7 III.
Y'all love them Sonys, man.
I
Expensive.
do. I do.
Expensive.
But as a, like, you know, as a woman, like my hands are smaller. Well, I have bigger hands, but it fits so well in my hand. Like a Canon and a Nikon, like they're great cameras. Like I would use one, but they're so heavy. I like a Sony because it's like, it's so easy to just, like a lot of times I don't like to wear the strap around my neck. I like to have it wrapped around my arm, just kind of like in my hand. And so it just fits nicely there.
And my last question is, what is your favorite lenses to use?
My favorite lens, like it's different for everything. For a while, I had two camera bodies on me. I would carry a wide angle lens and more of like a telephoto. I had, like when I was shooting for the Bulls, I had a 35 millimeter on one shoulder and an 85 on the other. And I did that for years until I got a 20 millimeter lens, and I thought that that was just like a little bit more fun. But yeah, I like to, I kind of see events and life through wide and like a tighter shot. Recently I got a zoom lens for practical purposes, but I would say my favorite lens is probably my 50 millimeter macro lens. It's a Canon lens. It's an FD lens. It was once on a film camera. And the cool thing about Sony is that there's focus peaking. So you can buy an adapter and put these old film lenses on your Sony. And, you know, the downside is that it's a manual focus, but the focus peaking makes it really easy. But I like to shoot portraits with my 50 millimeter macro. And any actual film lens, I just think that the bokeh, that's how you say it? Bokeh? It's that it produces is just like, it's beautiful. I'm also like, I like when things have character. I'm not one of those people that is like a really technical, like, oh, there's vignetting, I don't like this. No, I like vignetting.
Facts.
I like, you know, like the weird stuff, that appears along the sides. I think it just makes it unique. So I love to shoot with old film lenses. So yeah, depending on what I'm shooting, there's a different lens for all of it.
What people will call it graining, you would say is realistic.
Yeah, I like grain. I add grain to most of my photos, honestly.
I agree. It depends on the situation, but grain does for sure add character.
Yeah.
In this world that we have where social media is a big thing, and you know, everybody's like a content creator, and then also by you know, eating from photography, you know, do you feel any pressures of where you have to constantly produce and then share on social media in today's day and age?
Sometimes yes, but my immediate reaction to that is no, because I'm not doing it for my Instagram. I'm doing it because it's who I am, and I'm trying to give my client something that they're happy with. So yeah, I mean, I would still be taking photos and creating art even if there wasn't a public platform to display it on. But, you know, with that being said, like we're living in a very social, digital media world time, and it's I do get clients that way. You know, I connect with people that way. So I like to find, it's just again like all about balance. You know, if there's something I'm really excited to share or proud to share, then, you know, I'll get a post together. But a lot of my stuff is like not even on my page. That's something I need to do this fall. But yeah, it's It's a balance for sure.
I agree. It's like your business card because how many people have you met that inquired about your services, but the first thing that they ask you is, "What's your Instagram?"
Oh man,
Instead of trying to
yeah.
figure out the pricing, try and figure out what your specialty is and what you enjoy shooting. They always want to know what's your Instagram. And I think that's sometimes a thing that's important is making sure that we have represented the work that you do the best, or just to show people, hey, this is what I do, because some people will just be like, hey, I just thought you just like taking pictures.
Hmm.
So with you being the picture taker, how well are you with documenting like your family and family's events? Because sometimes I feel like a poser myself that I don't feel like I enjoy creating as much because I get paid to take pictures and get paid to film. And then it feels like, oh, well, I'm off today. I'm just here just to watch everything that y'all doing. And everybody's like, no, bring the camera. You're the photographer.
I know. I find that to be sort of difficult. um, like I, all of my family members have portraits, pretty much. Yeah, I was just on a family vacation. I brought my camera. I like to, take pictures of the kids and stuff. But when I'm with my family, I try my best to be present. And that's not, it's not even about, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, it's not about, like, I do want to take photos to preserve memories, but I think with them, especially with kids, they grow up so fast, and I want to create memories in the moment. So I shoot some photos from time to time, but it's just it's important to me to be present, like not be on my phone or taking pictures and things like that. I think take away from it can just take away from spending time.
Probably the hardest thing for a shooter is to sit behind the camera. I mean, yeah. No, not behind the camera,
In
in front of
front.
it. Yeah, so who's taking pictures of you?
Um, like
When
friends. I don't know. At Happy Endings, it's been cool because, like, I've had strangers be like, "Give me your camera really quick. Like, let me take
That's
your
how it's supposed to
picture."
be.
Friends will too, but yeah, it's terrifying to be in front of this camera. A little nervous.
I think you've been doing fairly well. So,
Thanks.
So what role does self-care play into all of this? Where you're constantly working again, you have to create leisurely because that's what feeds your soul. You gotta create because that's how you get paid. But what are some of the self-care practices that you're doing to keep all the balance through it all?
Um, yeah, self-care is really important, and if I'm being honest, I think I'm still sort of figuring it out. I think it's like a lifelong journey about
I agree.
where you are in your life, particularly in those moments, and what's gonna help you and make you happy. My philosophy is always to like treat yourself like you're your best friend. And what would you tell your best friend if you're feeling down or, anything like that? Like, get your favorite takeout meal, get ice cream that night, phone a friend. My family is amazing. I call my mom when I need someone to talk to. And also, it's like really, really important to stay on top of like paperwork and invoicing, and keeping your space clean is huge. Like, if my apartment starts to get cluttered, then my mind starts to get cluttered and everything starts to pile up. So, self-care is like just kind of like doing the things that I'm gonna thank myself for later. Um, yeah, like folding my laundry, like tomorrow I'll be so happy I did that. So just kind of, yeah, staying on top of things, phoning a friend, family. And I also am always like reminding myself of like a higher purpose, and that everything has meaning, all the setbacks, all of the failures, everything just is it's all part of the plan. And Some days, you know, you take one step forward. Some days you just stand there. Some days you take 20 steps back, but as long as you're moving and you don't give up, like self-care is just like, it's important to, yeah, just keep going for me, not to give up.
That's good right there. In recent conversations over the last month and a half, a question I've been asking everybody is it all worth it? You know, we fight so hard to want to be somewhere where we want to be, but then when you get spiritual and you talk to God about things, you know, everything is on God's time and He knows your heart, but you just got a few checks and balances that you have to get aligned to be able to get to wherever your heart's desire, as long as you put Him first in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to ask what you speaking about, because that hits home. You speaking about some days you take 20 steps back, some days you move forward, and some days you just sit still.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with that being what we know about this journey, do you feel that it's all worth it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like it's worth it. Like some of the hardest times in my life like needed to happen so that I could be prepared for what's next. And so that I can help others.
Mm-hmm.
So all the setbacks and failures and stuff, it's just like, it's all like, you know, paying attention is important. Being open to perspectives, other people's perspectives, including your own, you know, like how can I look at this from a different way that's gonna make it make sense. So you know, you talk about a higher power and like a bigger purpose. It hasn't been revealed to me yet, really. I mean, it's being revealed incrementally, but I'm just following my heart.
I heard that if you know where you're going, you're not following God.
Hmm.
And I heard that and it really resonated in my soul. Somebody was mentioning like maybe that's just a disconnect, and I was like, no, it's solid because you're not supposed to know everything.
Right.
It's not intended for you to. Let me ask you if you can leave people with one lasting impression of who you are, your work that you've done, big aspirational project, whatever that it may have. What would it be for you?
Mm, I really like. I would say probably like weddings. But it's hard for me to nail that down. Like people ask me often because like I would consider myself like a multidisciplinary photographer. Like I do so much. I do weddings, product, portraiture, sports, a bunch of different things. It's like hard for me to choose, but I think at the core of all of it is that I believe my purpose is to help others feel seen and to capture moments in time, like for people to look back on forever. One of the greatest compliments I ever got was I took some portraits of a friend and she said, like, you captured me the way that I see myself. And she had mentioned, like, no one's ever done that before. And so
That's special.
I just want to like create beautiful things and leave so much behind for everyone that I've worked with. Yeah.
I'm about to get some tears over here. That shit was when she said, "You capture me in a way that I see myself." That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah,
It's a
that
hell
was
of a
beautiful.
compliment.
I think that's very interesting because I was going to try and make you pick one. Because earlier you said you like portraiture, but then you would choose to select a wedding
Yeah.
as like the lasting memory of you. If we had to just leave something behind, just to play devil's advocate. Which one do you like the most between the two?
Oh
Uh,
man, like,
you don't
mm,
gotta answer it. I'm just messing.
no, it's okay. I can answer. I love sports.
Mm-hmm.
That's like if I could really like focus on one thing, it would probably be that. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, there's so much joy and hard work. I mean, the people you're working with did not get there for no reason. Like everyone has ambition, and in my experience, like everyone's just happy to be there, and there's so much emotion, and families are coming out and enjoying the night, and friends, like people get engaged on the jumbotron. Like I sports is probably the lane that I would most likely want to go down if I had to choose.
What are you most grateful for?
I am most grateful for my family, their health and happiness. I thank God for that every day. And for me, like there never was a plan B for me. Like I mean, I always knew that I would end up in some sort of creative field. And back in the early 2000s, like it was kind of taboo to pursue art because that was before Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff. And like, I remember this girl telling me to have fun at the art school of Crayola. Like everyone thought I would be broke and unsuccessful, but like again, there just was no plan B. I always followed my heart, and my family has been so incredibly supportive. Like they've never questioned me. They never told me I can't do anything. They've encouraged me to follow my dreams. They've helped in so many ways. They're really just the best. Like I can attribute pretty much everything back to them.
It's an awesome, solid foundation.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you have for an aspiring photographer, graphic designer?
Take photos. Like it's pretty simple. Like it's obviously there's more to that, but if you want to be a photographer, take pictures. I think it's important to get clear on why you're doing it. Figuring out your purpose and then moving with that in mind. I think developing some sort of like people skills is important. Again, my mom told me that I should learn how to bartend. It can take me anywhere. Bartending also got me out of my shell. I was terrified to be behind the bar, but I had to talk to people. So that really helped me be able to like work a room and have people skills and make my subject or help my subject feel comfortable. So the advice I would is just do it and shoot what you like. I didn't get I got that Gatorade job because I was shooting portraits and I liked to do it. So just continue to produce, work hard on it, network, offer value as well. Like back in Chicago when I was bartending, we had a special on Tuesday nights and the photos that they had on social media were awful. And so I had reached out to my manager. I'm like, hey, I'm an aspiring photographer. Can I take some photos for this special that we're offering? They said yes. It got back to the hospitality group. And then I eventually started taking photos for 17 different restaurants in Chicago. So, offering value, saying yes to everything. I've said yes to some, like, I think the only thing I really don't do is like newborn photography, but everything else, it's like, and then over time, you develop self-trust and confidence that it's everything. self-trust is like really, that's big.
I agree.
Oh, no.
She gave a lot of love. I'm gonna say learn composition.
Yes, yeah.
Learn composition. That is
Learn
the secret to getting the best photos possible, even if you are taking photos of nothing.
And also, to add on to that, like, you are your only competition. No one else is your competition. Like, I can't tell you the amount of like hours and times that I have like stayed up looking at some of my photos and just being like, oh, like highlights are too bright, or like, why isn't, this in focus enough, or this lighting is really unflattering, or just like, I just through my journey, just stare at my pictures and just ask myself, like, how can I make this better? I'm constantly critiquing myself. So like I said, I'm in competition with me.
But that's what makes you better.
Mm-hmm.
Critiquing your work, looking at what you don't want.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to talk about me, but I remember a particular wedding that I shot, and the lighting was like a weird lighting, and there were black bars just going down my screen, and I was like, why is that like that? I hate that. How do I not get that on there? I looked up a couple of YouTube videos, and it was because I was shooting on auto and my shutter speed was varying.
Yeah.
Instead of setting my shutter speed, and because lights flicker, not LED lights, but lights that have filaments in them, they flicker.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever your shutter speed is moving fast enough, it picks up that flicker, and that's what was causing that bar effect in the video. The
Right.
simplest thing ever. So yeah, whatever it is that you don't like about your stuff, study your stuff, make sure you don't get that result again, and it will make you the best.
Yeah, Google it. YouTube University.
So before we get up out of here, tell the people how they can find you, where they can find you, and how they can book you if they want to book you.
You can find me on Instagram at ellen.gobeille, Gobeille. I know it's I before E, but not in this case. So you can find me on Instagram and yeah, send me a DM. We can chat.
Ellen Gobeille, y'all.